Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Faculty of Management Speaker Series online. Today, Mark Coombs, co founder and CEO of Sleepout, will be joining us, and it is my pleasure to introduce him. Remember, you can ask Mark a question by typing it in the comments, and I can pull it up on the screen during the session. Sleepout is a sleep aid e commerce company whose first product is a patent pending blackout curtain that temporarily darkens any room for sleep. Before Sleepout, Mark led revenue functions at Kyra Systems and Blue Jay Legal, two Canadian legal tech startups. Mark is a lawyer who ventured from practicing insurance law in Toronto to the world of tech startups to launching his own business during the pandemic. Mark is also a UNB alumni. He graduated from UNB Law School in 2015 and was called to the Ontario Bar in 2016. Hi, Mark. Welcome to the Faculty of Management Speaker Series, and thank you for joining us today.
Mandy, thanks so much for having me. This is a pleasure for me to be on.
How are you doing today? Is it? I'm sure it's been a busy past 1 month or so.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been a wild day. So I can explain a little bit of the background about what's happening to me today. We announced the business 1 month ago to like a huge response. Today we actually so we're auditioning for Dragon's Den literally like after this meeting, which I'm sorry, which is why I've got a hop a little bit early. We just actually found out about that yesterday. And just this morning, we got to pitch our business to Joe Mimran, which was like just
Wow.
borderline crazy. I can't believe that I just got out of that meeting. And yeah, so I've never like this is a very interesting 30 minutes of my life in between these two meetings. So I'm just trying to keep it together. And yeah, happy to answer any questions and to talk with the folks here, obviously.
Thanks so much, Mark. And that is so great to see that your company has got so much traction in such a short span of time. And I know that in the interest of time, we're just going to jump right into the questions. Um,
Let's do it.
you had a very diverse career from insurance law to tech startups to actually launching your own business as an entrepreneur. What has been a key motivator or influence in your life?
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, I'm also somebody you could say is just like bad at finding what their career is. I've jumped through so many different aspects. I think the prime motivator for me was I was always interested in some form of innovation. So even like the law firm that I joined was a small firm where I got access to being able to go to court a little bit earlier than I would have at a bigger firm. But the kind of genesis of my story is really a law professor that I was close with at UNB. Like this kind of does all go back to UNB calling me and telling me about a startup in Toronto from his friend who was another law professor named Benjamin Allery, saying this is really cool. It's artificial intelligence that can actually predict legal outcomes, which is really insane if you think about it. And you should go check this out and get in on the ground floor. And you know, if the business blows up and fails, you can always just go back to practicing. So I've been willing to take some risks, but I love the idea of creating new things, and I love being involved in innovative processes.
So, going from that and leaving a job which has some amount of security and continuity, how what made you jump from that to become an entrepreneur and come up with Sleep Out Inc?
Yeah, so I've made like an even further jump now and just left an income altogether to launch my own business. I felt so. There's a couple things to this. I think law school is great training for entrepreneurs. Just to, I mean, plug law school. Like I think that lawyers are the kind of the only ones who know the rule book of society, and it's helped me like literally everywhere. Like most recently in filing a patent, I've actually been able to help draft it, but any negotiations, knowing to get exclusive licenses with certain suppliers, like just really, really helpful. So if you are going to law school, like you have some good grounding for entrepreneurship. Um, Other than that, I think it was really I like being at Blue Jay as employee number 8. I really was in charge of like 5 different functions. So I kind of got an MBA on the
Wow.
ground level of running a business, and I felt like the pandemic was the perfect time. We had no other activities or excuses other than to build this business. So I was like, if I'm ever going to do it, I might as well just do it now. There's literally no other distractions at this time.
True. I mean, it's great, and I'm sure it kept you really busy during the pandemic. Time must have flown the past year to some extent. Um,
Yeah, I probably like the fact that it's April right now is crazy for sure.
yeah. So, Sleepout has gained so much traction and so much interest in. I mean, we connected on LinkedIn about a month ago, I think, and since then I've been kind of tracking like your social media and your updates, and the company is. Uh, how did you generate so much interest in such a short span of time?
I've got a good answer question. I'm just going to switch my internet quickly because I think it's
Sure.
okay. I think it's working.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
I'm back. Yeah, the answer to your question, why are we getting so much traction? I mean, I couldn't have predicted that myself. I think it's a combination of a couple of things. This is not the first business that my partner Hannah and I attempted actually. Like we had looked at like a walker and cane business. We had looked at like a salmon jerky business, and like we realized pretty quickly doing a bunch of kind of lean startup type tests that the first business wasn't going to work or was going to be way too difficult just because the regulatory framework. So the upfront costs were going to be like in the hundreds of thousands. That was going to be impossible. And then the second business, the margins just didn't make sense. So we did a lot of work actually just finding a business that was viable. Like the basis of this business in some ways is really just like a best-selling Amazon product with really poor reviews. So we knew there was a market that was like really unsatisfied, and I was part of that market. Luckily for me, like I bought all of this stuff because I suffer from insomnia myself, and
Yeah.
I was like forced to buy it because there was no alternative. So even with poor reviews, I'm kind of like, okay, I got to spend the $60 anyway because there's literally nothing else out there. And then so there was a legit need in the market for it. And then the second piece is we've always been big on building in public. I think that's kind of a new thing to talk about everything that you're doing on social media, the risks you're taking. But I think people really connect with it, and it's a little bit more scary because you're being more vulnerable. But I think it's just really helpful. I mean, I don't think we would have gotten any of the meetings that we've gotten with certain people if we'd not been brave enough to build in public. So it's been really great for us.
And it's also like brings in a lot of authenticity. Like you want in social media, when you look at it, it's always the best picture. People are presenting the best picture of themselves, and I really admire the authenticity of your posts and you sharing your process with everyone. um, Without I know that Hannah has provided a demo of the product, and we're going to jump
Yeah.
right into that, and then we can talk more about.
Hi UNB, I'm Hannah Brennan, co-founder and president of Sleepout. Today I'm going to show you how the Sleepout curtain works, and I have to apologize that I can't do this in person. Right now I'm getting our space ready to audition with Mark for CBC Dragon's Den. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask him. So all you have to do to install the curtain, I've got it here, you can see it's really small, you can bring it with you anywhere, is you lock these two suction cups onto the top corners of the window, and then you press the curtain to the cups, it's up. I'll show you. So you lock on the first suction cup, lock on the second suction cup, and you'll notice I'm doing this with one hand. It's really that easy. You can do this really quickly, anytime, anywhere, any size window. Then you just touch the top of the curtain to the suction cups, and there you go. You have installed a blackout curtain in about 10 seconds. Now you'll notice there are some light bleeds around the outsides, and that can be a problem. We make sure to address it as well. I can't tell you exactly how we do that yet. We're gonna reveal it to the CBC team in 15 minutes or so. But you can install a completely light blocking portable blackout curtain and have access to complete darkness anytime, anywhere in about 30 seconds with Sleepout.
Sorry, amazing. It's such a
Uh,
it, it's
she's
like
so great.
it's such a like it's so simple to put up on the window, and you don't have to change your real curtain, like your actual curtains that sometimes are there for decor and stuff. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, here's some more authenticity. Like, I mean, first of all, she's just incredible as a she, but like, I cannot install anything. Like Hannah's doing all our demos for sure. If we go on TV, she's definitely doing it. But like I can install this curtain in 30 seconds. Hannah's probably 10 seconds. I'm probably 30. But like it's so easy that I can install it. So that tells you something. But she's so great.
That was awesome. It was literally 10 seconds to put it up, I think. And so simple, and it will fit any. There's no. It's amazing. I'm waiting for you to launch your product because I am definitely going to pick up one. Amazing.
We'll send you one, Andy. We'll send you one for sure.
One thing that I noticed that in our communication and from your social media posts is that you've gotten great support from the entrepreneurship community. Curtis Kennedy, who was also on the speaker series. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't explain how amazing the entrepreneurship community has been. Like Curtis in particular has like been there from the beginning. And just from a reach out saying, "Hey, I'm doing something insane and leaving my job to start this business. Like, love what you've done with Vertiball, watched you guys on Dragon's Den. Like, if you would give me 15 minutes, like I promise you won't be disappointed," type thing. And we've reached out to, like, obviously we just talked to Joe Mimran, which I still like, I don't know if this is real or not. I'm still like reeling from that, but not everybody gets back to us. But it's like I a book that's had a big impact on me is Annie Duke's How to Decide, and one of the things that she's a famous poker player, is also a PhD from Wharton. It's like there's a lot of decisions that have huge upsides, and the downsides are just your embarrassment. And you should usually take those decisions and like take the swing and cold call somebody. And yeah, I mean, in most cases they'll probably hang up on you, but like in some cases they might end up building like relationships that can just last. So Curtis has actually helped us prep for this Dragon's Den audition. Like we've met Raj Ruparel, who's the founder of Endy. It's really been, I think, one of the biggest things. God, I have so much respect for Joe Mimran. It's just like they all remember what it was like to be at the very beginning of something. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking of starting your own business, like I'm happy to talk to you, obviously, too. It's like it really is this community of people who know what this is like, because it's a very unique feeling. I'll say that.
But it's really great to see such a great support coming from entrepreneurs who've been there, done that, and supporting new entrepreneurs like yourself. It's uh, it's quite new and it's quite unlike the typical corporate industry, if you may. Um, so you went from an idea and you have now a really neat and sleek product. Did you need funding to at the product development stage?
Not at the product development stage. We used our own savings. We probably poured about $3,500 into this. And this was like, so product development was like literally buying everything out there, sitting down and reading probably 2,000 Amazon reviews, and just like the prototyping with really good like innovation core places, building new suction cups, trying magnets, trying nanotape, like that bit that Hannah showed that we haven't revealed yet. You wouldn't believe, Nandy, the amount of walls we've ripped up, like windows we've damaged. That last piece of being able to like, anybody that is light sensitive knows this. Like if even if you have a blackout curtain and there's just like a little bit of light that shines in your room, it drives you nuts. And actually studies show that even a little bit of light hitting your eyes at a certain time will suppress up to 50% of your melatonin production. Like there's actually a reason you don't like the light coming in the room. So us figuring that out was massive, and I have to credit Han to that. But we just did an exclusivity deal with the company who's the only one in the world that makes the stuff. It'll stick to any surface and it's reusable. Um, but yeah, that was a hard
Wow.
problem to solve.
Back in India before I did my MBA at UNB, I used to work for a Canadian company, and we would cover Canadian stock markets. So we would have to be up at Canadian time in India, and then we would sleep in the day. And I would rush
Oh
home to
man.
make sure I was asleep before the sun came up, because if the sun hit my eyes, I would be awake and I couldn't go back to sleep. So until I put up blackout curtains, but that was a whole process. It wasn't something like this, so simple and easy to put up. Amazing. Um, okay, so can you tell us about Kickstarter? What's the deal with Kickstarter?
Yeah, like so we actually have enough financing. Like some companies go on Kickstarter with just an idea. They don't have a factory mass producing it. Like they're really just like they're prototyping and trying to figure out if there's a market. We've been doing ad testing in the background. We know there's a market. Like we actually have our cost per acquisition, like all this, we have our numbers down. The reason that we're not just shipping product immediately is because of anybody that's been through this process knows that there's a massive minimum order quantity. So we'd have to put money up front and then end up with like only 5,000 units to sell. We really believe in this. So we believe we'd sell out of those quickly and then we'd be left for like 40 to 60 days with no inventory, which would really upset a lot of people. The reason that we whiteboarded this out for like 2 days to do Kickstarter first is because it like if we have a gravity blankets type Kickstarter, right? When they invented the new weighted blanket and everybody went crazy for it. Then we have a chance to actually order way more product and bring it and satisfy the need in North America. Even if we don't do well, we're obviously still going to order the product regardless. But the Kickstarter thing was really just about satisfying order numbers that could happen in Canada and the US.
And do you have a date for launching on Kickstarter?
We do, but it because of the CBC,
Yeah.
like their shooting schedule is now by the end of April. So our Kickstarter, I'm going to say, is tentatively probably June 7. It actually could be earlier, but if we have to go and shoot on Dragon's Den on CBC, we may like
Yeah.
move it. It's going to be June 1, June 7, but like we'll probably give ourselves a week to prep for TV because that's a big platform. We need to look good for it.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So for anyone watching today, and I'm gonna post a link in the comments to the website, and you can follow Sleepout, and we can support them on Kickstarter when they launch.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about like it would be amazing to have your support. The reason to support us on Kickstarter versus just waiting for us to have regular inventories because Kickstarter's requirement is always to provide a discount. So it will be cheaper on Kickstarter than it will be at retail. I mean, we want to do that anyway, but it's Kickstarter's requirement.
Yeah. Well, I'll be tracking and following your company, so I will definitely push it out within the UNB community.
That's
Happy to
awesome.
do that anytime. We spoke about so currently you manufacture everything in Canada, or do you plan to shift it to China or something like that?
Yeah, it's overseas. It's going to
Okay.
be done in China. Like we attempted to do this in Canada. I was kind of young and naive and wanted to do all of this here. Unfortunately, we just don't have the factory capacity. I actually know our unit cost difference now. It would be about 4.5 times more expensive to do it in Canada. So we wouldn't be able to run a viable business unless we started charging like $500 per curtain, which is just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. You spoke about having an advantage as a lawyer in the patenting process. Did you have to still hire an like another lawyer as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could help a little bit with patent from law school and help with some of the drafting, but yeah, I mean, you know that you should always talk to an expert. I had like my law school connections were massively helpful. Some of them did go into patent practice, so just knowing them and being able to talk to them was a huge help. But yeah, we also engaged a real patent agent, not just me.
Okay. That's interesting. And you mentioned that, I mean, you launched the business during the pandemic, while other businesses, existing businesses, were pivoting during the pandemic. So, did you have to tweak your plan even though you launched during a pandemic?
No, I mean, I think e-commerce, like if you look at some of the Shopify statistics, like e-commerce has grown in the past year what it took 10 years before. Like I think it's pretty clear now that consumers are in control. Like it used to be that you'd have to line up, if there's some big new item, you would have to line up outside the Target and Target would basically say like, here's your number, like we'll tell you when you can buy this. And now that's totally gone, right? Like the consumer controls everything. I think the average is like a consumer will read somewhere around 8 to 10 reviews before they decide to buy something. So they're more educated than ever. I think online is necessary. I don't think retail is dead. I think it's kind of omni-channel. It's both. But we always knew that we were going to sell online. We know consumers want to buy that way, and we know we have to build in quick shipping times and do all of that good stuff to win in this space now.
Yeah. So, do you think that in the future, do you think that we could walk into a store and buy your product?
I think retail is coming in our future. People have asked this, and I actually expect the CBC folks to ask me this too in a few minutes. But um, I'm confident we can get into retail. We've actually had conversations with HBC in multiple Sleep Country now. The difference is though, I come from software, and actually in the first company that I worked for, we did a software partnership deal with like the major player, the market leader in the space, for them to do exclusive sales for us. And it almost killed the business because we were so early. We desperately needed that feedback from our customers about our product and what to build next. And we weren't getting that feedback, right? It was all through this big channel. And so if we just handed it over to a retailer, and while they're great and we respect them, we wouldn't get the direct relationship with our customers. And to us, like, nothing is more important right now than having conversations with our customers. Like we're having like I don't know, I think we've probably had like 300 conversations by Zoom with people who are interested in this, and we just want to understand everything because they're our biggest source for both improving this product and for future products. And yeah, no, that relationship for at least the first year or two is going to be critical. Then we can look to retail once we feel super confident in like everything that we're doing. But yeah, we want that relationship.
Of course. Speaking of customers, everyone sleeps and everyone needs good sleep. But are you
Yep.
targeting a specific customer segment or region?
Yeah, we have we have some data on this. Our demographics, like the key ones show is especially during the pandemic, like people's sleep issues have been exacerbated, unfortunately, during this time. But the three key demographics for us are definitely parents, right? With small children. A lot of small children are sensitive to light, and parents are already sleep deprived and like working double time right now to do daycare duty and full work duty. So that's probably our biggest market. The second one, as you noted, Andy, are shift workers. So people who need to work in the night and sleep during the day. Like, you wouldn't believe how many paramedics that we've talked to, especially during COVID. There's actually a stat out there that people in the healthcare industry during COVID are outpacing regular society and insomnia diagnoses. Like, there's a lot of stress and sleep issues there now. And then the third piece is young professionals who are looking to optimize, like myself. Like, you have sleep issues, you're just trying to be at your best, and you want to sleep a little bit better every night.
For sure. And like I said before, like whenever you do launch, I'm definitely going to pick up one because I can't sleep as soon as the light comes in or if there's light in the room.
Me too, 100% same.
And so after you graduated from your with your law degree in 2015, um, now do you see yourself going back to school ever in the future?
I don't see myself necessarily going back to school, but I definitely see myself coming back to talk to the university and everything like that. Like, I think that time was so critical, and the connections that I made at UNB Law have been like helpful throughout everything that I've done. Like, it's been amazing for sure.
And what advice would you give to students or young entrepreneurs who are looking to launch businesses now? Is it a good time to start a business?
I think there's never been a better time to start a business, but I also, like, everybody that gives this advice is also couching thinking like, I had some savings and like I had some ability to fail. Like, definitely don't bet your house on whatever you're doing immediately. Like, make it a small bet, right? So if you want to go validate, it's never been easier to validate a business. Like, you can get a free trial. Like, I'll just tell you how to do it, right? Like, get a free trial with Unbounced or lead pages, build a lead page, spend $50 on Facebook and Instagram ads. This is if you're thinking of doing an e-commerce business. Get a free trial of Hotjar, which lets you film people coming to the site, drive people to that site, put down a price point, and like just see if people are hitting add to cart. Um, you need to validate what you're doing as soon as possible. And the danger that a lot of people fall into, like even big software execs fall into this, is just talking to people about their idea and everybody giving them positive feedback. That doesn't mean anything. Like, it's great and it's good encouragement, but until you actually see somebody is willing to give you X amount of money that you're seeking for your product, you don't have a validated business idea. And so that's the big danger, right? Like, lean startup, there's tons of books out there on this, but validate your business as early as possible. And you don't need that much money to do it, right? Like, you don't need to take out $100,000 to do this.
Okay, lots of great insights there, Mark. Thank you so much. And just my last and final question is, as you grow your company and you expand your you hire employees and stuff in the future, what qualities would you look for in them? Would it be aptitude, attitude?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And Hannah and I are quickly realizing that we cannot do every single like CFO, like all the different aspects of this business as it grows. We're definitely going to need people. There's no doubt about it. What qualities are we looking for? So I've actually been lucky enough to have had management roles at early stage startups where I built an Excel framework of the exact qualities that we were looking for. So I've had some experience hiring people that worked out and people that didn't in early stage. I think what you're looking for with people with early stage companies are people who are kind of innovative, right? Like obviously you can't afford to pay the same amount of money as a huge company. And so you're really looking for people who are hoping to probably one day start their own business, or they just like doing new products, but they have to be resourceful. They have to be people who are okay in chaos, right? You're not going to have time to give them like this great playbook. And that's not a knock on people, right? Like some people are amazing at going into a huge company like Salesforce and just executing on a proven playbook, and that's awesome. But there are other people who really don't like doing that, and they just like new stuff and figuring stuff out and kind of building stuff. There's kind of the builders executors framework, and so you're really looking for those people who just can't wait to come in and learn and build something.
Wow, thank you so much, Mark. I know we're really pressed on time, and you have an audition coming up. Um,
Yeah.
so we're gonna end this pretty soon now, and just want to say, I know how busy you've been, and I just want to say a big thank you from
That's awesome. Thank you,
the
Mandy.
UNB community and everyone else who's watching today and will watch this in the future. It's been amazing. And if you do, when you do visit UNB again, do let us know, and we can do a session in person on campus when things are back to the normal. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely do another session. This is a very unique 30 minutes in between of the two meetings that I talked about. Thank you so much, Andy, for having me. And yeah, we'll definitely do this again. Like, so appreciate the support.
No, 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 thank you. And we'll stay in touch, and we're looking forward to your Kickstarter.
All right, thanks so much.
And good luck for today. All right. See ya. See ya, Mark.